Guys, this is me just chilling with, well, that was Sherman. I'll be back on the air for Araby TV at 3 a.m. our time on the East Coast of the United States. It's more prime time for them. So I'm going to be up on a freezing cold rooftop and happy to do it. I'm on contract with them for about an 8-10 day period. And it's a lot of fun. I've done a lot of that before. That roof is where a lot of the foreign press goes. So every election season is pretty busy up there with the temporary studios, but it is cold. So do you remember? I've talked a lot about how in 2016 there was this media consortium that does exit polling. It's the top media outlets in the country. They all get together, they do it, but it's secret. And then at 5 o'clock today on election day, because they're doing it again, they release their exit polling results and data to the members of the consortium, and it's supposed to be completely secret. In 2016, a guy by the name of Chris Blasto, who was with ABC News, called Dave Bossy with the Trump campaign and said, "Look, you guys lost, and here's where." And then over the course of the next few hours, the numbers came in and gave Trump the White House. You're perfectly distributed among the three states that put him in the White House: Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. So while we won't, I don't think we're going to know who won the election tonight. I don't think anybody thinks that's really possible. However, the media will have certain data that they'll start talking about. They will know, for example, did women over 65 come out in droves in, say, Florida? We're going to get those results early because remember that Iowa poll had Kamala Harris winning white women over 65 by 40 points. I mean, that is massive. Well, there's a lot of women over 65 in Florida, a lot of retirees. And that would be just amazing if Kamala Harris beat Trump in his own home state. So we start looking at that. They'll be talking a lot about demographics. What was the issue that people voted on? Of course, voters always claim there's an issue. In some cases, there are when there's something on, there's a referendum, you've got abortion on the ballot or something big like that. But for the most part, people vote on image, and the issues merely help define that image, which is why Trump falsely has an image of being a good businessman, which means he falsely has an image of being good on the economy. He's not. The Biden Harris economy is superb, it's unbelievably good. And we're in great shape. And her economic plan has been endorsed by a couple dozen Nobel Prize winning economists. So, she's got it. She's got that together. So when they start talking tonight about the demographics, who voted where, what concerns, say for Hispanics or whatnot, I think we're going to start getting some hints because if white women over the age of 65 voted heavily in Florida, which we're going to hear those numbers early from the East Coast, and we're going to hear the numbers coming in from Virginia. And as I mentioned in one of my shorter videos today, our good friend Mike Madrid says he thinks Virginia is the state to watch as a bellwether. It's not a battleground state, but it resembles it's like a miniature America in terms of the demographics. So if those numbers come in tonight, that show that a lot of that there's a more than anticipated number of, say, white women over the age of 65. I'm using that as an example, who turned out for Kamala Harris, or women in general, particularly in the Northern Virginia area, then it's going to be a good night for Democrats and for Kamala Harris. So, will we have everything settled? No, and Trump wouldn't allow it anyway. He's going to throw a wrench in this process. There's going to be violence, but I do think that if Kamala Harris wins decisively, and you're really just nitpicking and splitting hairs and looking for something like Trump did with 65 court cases around the country, something like that, and he got beaten everyone all but one. Mark Elias is our hero on that front, and democracy docket. But if there's really no chance, I think that there will be a large percentage of establishment Republicans, the few that are left, but I think that they are going to say, no, we're not with you on this, Trump, because if they know he's gone. This reminds me of the Wicked Witch of the West in The Wizard of Oz, her flying monkeys. And remember when she melted and she died, they were all thrilled. They were loyal until she was gone. And I think that there's going to be a strong element of that with Trump. Everybody is falling in line now because they're afraid of him. But if they think there's a chance that this could really get rid of him for good, he's not going to get that kind of support. Oh, he'll have his Mike Flynn's and his Roger Stones and his Michael Caputos and his thugs doing their thing, but he's not going to get the rubber stamp, I think, from every Republican member of Congress. The crazies, the ones who belong in prison, of course, the Matt Gaetzes and the Jim Jordans and the Lauren Boeberts and the Marjorie Taylor Greens. But I think there's going to be a swath of Republicans who are just going to say, you know what, we're not doing this for you again. So I'm hoping. But again, I was thinking about that media consortium that does the exit polling, and yes, they do the exit polling for the early vote as well. So the media usually knows in advance who won, and they can't say they're prohibited from saying it. I don't think they're going to know who won unless these numbers, when they start talking about the demographics and how people voted or how many went to the polls of this demographic or that demographic, that's going to tell us a lot. And so, again, I'm going to take Mike Madrid's advice and I'm going to be looking at Virginia. And I think it'll be interesting to see what comes out of Florida. I still think Florida is going to be a surprise. The abortion initiative is on the ballot. There's a lot of there's a lot of white women over age 65 there who might just be a lot like the white women over 65 in Iowa. And that sells her poll, unless it was an outlier, unless it was a bad poll, but she's an excellent pollster, which is why people are taking this so seriously. So if the polls are underestimating the women's vote, I'm fine with that. But anyway, I'm actually going to try and get some sleep before I have to go to the studios. I'm recording this a little bit after 4 o'clock, so my timetable's all messed up. So anyway, fingers crossed, guys.